Hello, I'm Max Balegde.
And I'm George Clarke, and welcome to the Useless Hotline. TikTok wasn't working out for us, so we decided to set up our own little business.
Yes, we did, and the Useless Hotline is a place where we help you with your queries, except not today, because we're going to be dancing, moving, shaking, and big brothering it up, baby, because guess who's in the house? You guessed it, a guest.
Oh my god, it's JoJo freaking Siwa.
Oh!
Bet you didn't see that coming.
Yeah. If you saw the thumbnail or the title, then yes, you know that JoJo Siwa's here. You don't want to see these two idiots babbering on, so I'm just going to tell our receptionist to send in Miss Siwa herself. Are you ready, George?
Oh yeah, you don't want these two, so we're gonna go see ya.
Yay! Dream guest on our podcast. It's JoJo Siwa.
Yeah.
I almost found it in me to shout it with you because I know that's what they're gonna say. Dream guest on my podcast. Unoriginal. Everyone does that. I'm kidding. I'm playing. It's honestly. It's cute, like it's fun. Everybody, Danny, the whole time in the house was like, "Will you be the dream guest on my podcast?" With him, Danny.
Oh my God, JoJo,
Hi, guys.
how are you? Welcome to the Useless Hotline.
Thank you. I'm good. I feel like I'm like coming back to earth.
Oh my God.
I feel like it was a teething period, and I think still is. I think it'll be like another week or two till I'm like, oh, this is how you function with other humans.
How long ago did you come out of the house?
We got out of the house. Okay, I'm a little messed up. Not yesterday.
Yeah.
About
But the day
34-ish hours ago.
Yeah, like
That's
36 hours
insane.
ago.
Yeah.
But what happened was, and a lot of people had the same thing. I got out of the house and I stayed awake until 9 p.m. the next night. Wow. So a lot of people were able to sleep around like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. Some people went to sleep at like noon, but I kicked it. Like I was up for like a full 36 hours.
Oh my God.
And so I just slept for the first time. And even then I only slept 4 hours. I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
How are you functioning? You've
I
come in
don't
with like so
know.
much energy.
Yeah.
as
I
well.
don't know. I'm just happy. I'm happy to be alive.
Oh my God, we're so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Obviously, we
It's a
want to
trip
dive
for me
into.
to be here. I was telling you guys 2 seconds ago, but like I've been seeing your stuff like everywhere.
JoJo.
Oh my God,
I've
I'm
been
freaking
sent
out.
loads of your rants. I love it. I'm in for it.
Obviously, we want to dive into everything CBB, and we shall.
Let's do it, whatever you
but I
want.
would be doing myself a disservice if I did not dive into your illustrious career before the Celebrity Big
Nice
Brother
word.
house.
Yeah.
Thank you. Innit?
I didn't know you had-
Illustrious.
yeah.
That was quite a big one.
I didn't know you had that.
Illustrious?
I do have a thesaurus under here. I'm not.
There we
gonna
go.
lie. Firstly, I just want to bring it back to Abby's ultimate dance competition.
Oh, we're going to day one.
We're going to day
We're
one,
going to day
baby.
one.
JoJo with the bobo. All right.
Oh.
I for those who don't know, you came up on. Would you call it like a side show to Dance Moms?
Yeah, like a little bit of a spin-off.
A spin-off,
Yeah.
yeah. To Abby Lee Miller's Dance Moms, iconic television. If you don't know,
Crazy.
friggin' get to know, right?
Yeah.
You were on there, and then you got brought on to Dance Moms. That was a
Yes.
whole incredible, world-changing era in
Crazy.
television and pop culture.
Crazy.
How do you look back on those years now?
It's weird because I feel like when I went into Dance Moms, I knew what I was getting myself into because I was a massive fan of the show. And so I knew what Abby was like. I knew what the other girls were like. And so I kind of had an expectation going in. But honest to God, like looking back at it, I just can't believe my age. And
How
I
old
think
were you?
I was 9 on Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition.
Wow.
And then I was 11 when I went to Dance Moms. I was 11 to 13. And it's really strange for me nowadays to meet kids that are that age and be like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like I was so little and I loved it and I love it still and I like don't regret a single thing. But I think it's just fascinating to me to look back and be like, you only get one life, right? But I think after you live your childhood, you really get to see like, oh, you only get one childhood. Like you don't get to go to school. You can, but you don't go to school again. You know, you don't lose your teeth again. You do, but like you don't. You know what I mean? Like all of this stuff in context. But it's just crazy to think like the childhood that I had. And I think I feel lucky because it was so public, so I get to be reminded of it all the time.
You have the best home videos ever.
Like, baby, I don't have home videos. I got a TV show. It's great.
Editors and everything.
Yeah, oh my God, the
amazing.
dramatic music behind any conversation, like,
So I was just watching with Big Brother, the different music they added in. I was like,
So
oh,
funny.
this is funny.
yeah, so
this
funny.
is funny.
Oh my God.
So did you notice? So you went in on the show first at 9. Did you notice like things change in school, how people like treated you? or
So
anything?
I was homeschooled.
Okay.
And so I was homeschooled from the time I was in kindergarten. So
Yeah.
really, really early on. So not really in my school life because I was alone, but in the dance world, yeah. It was
Okay.
really hard for me to process as a kid. I went to my first dance convention, and back from being on Abby's Ultimate Dance Competition, bless you. This girl who actually is like one of my best friends to this day comes up and started like petting my hair. And I was like, Mom, everyone's touching me. Everyone's looking at me. Like, what's going on? She's like, it's okay, honey. Like, you were just on a show. They're just excited. Like, it's okay. Everyone wanted to eat lunch with me. And I was like, I just want to go in the bathroom and be alone. Like, it was really hard for me to process that first time. And then I was over it. And then now it's the only thing that I know.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of how everything has been for me. Like, the first of everything is always hard to process. And then once I'm through it, I'm like, oh, all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. It's so much to come to terms with being so young, but equally watching you now, you can tell that you are so mentally strong because of all that.
It for sure. And I think, like, I have a lot of friends that are much older than me, and not even much older than me, 10 years older than me, and they, you know, a lot of them have actually come to fame at my age now, you know, in their 20s, in their early to late 20s. And they all say to me, like, how are you okay? Like, this level that you have at this age, they're all like, if I had my fame at that age, like, God, like, that would be horrible. Like, that would be hell. And I'm like, it's just because it's all I know, right? And I've grown up with it, and I've had to be strong, and I've had to have things go on in my personal life and be able to keep my professional life professional. And that's like, it's one of the hardest things. I mean, there's that iconic moment from Katy Perry where she was broken up with right before she went on stage.
And then she had to go up the...
And it's like, you don't have to, but you choose to, because, you know, your ship is running and you want your ship to smooth sail.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's a hard thing, but I think I find so much happiness in my career, and I find so much happiness investing time into it, that it feels like I can do that.
It's almost like it would be difficult for the average person, but from an outsider looking in, it feels like you were born to do this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot.
Like, thank God it did happen to you.
That's what I always say. I always say it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
But like, it was for me. That's actually something interesting, that, not to keep rounding everything out to a Big Brother housemate, but like that Jack and I had in common was like, you know, he started at a very young age, and it just was right
David
for him.
Platt on Coronation Street, we love.
Crazy.
Crazy. So in terms of, you know, everything that you've just said, if you were to have children in the future, would you want them to work in the entertainment industry?
I would want them to do anything they want to do. I think that the entertainment industry is not for everybody. It was for me. It was not for my brother, and my parents were able to raise us separately. I think one of the most important things is, once your kid expresses interest in something, you nourish that, and you give them every tool that they could possibly want to be able to make the most beautiful art canvas, right? If my kid says to me, I want to be a drummer, baby, we're going to buy a drum kit today. Like, let's go. If my baby says to me, I want to play baseball, like, let's go pick out a bat and a ball. You know what I mean? And if they say one thing today and another tomorrow, all good, you're a kid.
And you can tell from watching the show that your mum had that same outlook with you.
She did, and she really did. And that started from when I was way younger. That started from when I was like 4 or 5. And it's weird. You think, like, my mom actually faced a lot of criticism, and I, now that I'm an adult, get that same criticism, but more so people trying to shame my mom, being like, why did she put you into this? You didn't have a say at that age. And yeah, sure, I didn't have a say, but I also expressed interest. And like, I'm still here.
So you obviously,
like,
now that you have a say, you
now that I have
wanted
a say,
to
I'm
do it. So
still
she
going.
obviously made the right decision.
Exactly.
And I
Makes
also
sense.
think that mom shaming happens a lot.
Everything shaming happens.
And if your mum would have been sat there, like, in front of a bunch of other mums and been like, yeah, so my daughter JoJo was really talented when she was younger, but I didn't want to push her into anything.
she
They'd be
wanted
like,
to do this,
why
and
on earth didn't you push her? She could have been
Exactly.
this big star. So you can never win, really.
Yeah, you can never win. And I think one of the things is, like, my mom always taught me, your baby is your baby, and you get to do with your baby what you want to do, and then your baby gets to live how your baby wants to live. It's like the same thing with a car. Your car is your car. You drive it how you want to. You know
My
what I mean?
co-host is my co-host. I dress him how I want
I thought you were
to.
about to call me your car then.
I did too. I was like,
That too.
I don't
kind of
really
a
know where this is
slay.
going.
In terms of Dance Moms, then, I know that you shot the reunion like a year ago. A reunion, shall we call it? Not the
Yeah,
official,
oh
the
my God.
unofficial reunion.
Yeah, that was like, was that a year? Oh, a little over a year ago.
Just over a year ago. Are you still friendly with any of the girls in particular?
Yeah, loads. I actually got the sweetest message from Kenzie while I was in the Big Brother
Did
house.
you?
I need to reply to her. My mom replied to her saying, hey, it's Jess. JoJo's in the Big Brother house, whatever. because I shared a story from Dance Moms when Kenzie actually was really kind to me, and it must have made air. I don't know what does and what doesn't. I haven't watched the thing in full. I've only watched the clips online. But she actually reached out and was like, I just want you to know, like, I did like some videos back in the day. I didn't mean that. I'm sorry. I hope like the air is all clear, and like air is all clear, all good, babe. Kalani, I'm so close to. I'm gonna be in her wedding later this year, which I'm really excited about.
Gosh. That's so lovely.
Yeah, everybody's really tight. Kendall's in the wedding as well. It's weird. It's like if we see each other, we're like this. Like I can guarantee if I saw Maddie, we'd be like, oh my God, babe, how have you been? What's new? Who's in your life? What's going on? Oh my God, the tea. And then we'd be like, let's hang out tomorrow. And we will never speak until we see each other. Ever.
But that's all good friendships,
it's the best like that.
Yeah.
Literally last week, my childhood best friend, who I would spend every day with all throughout high school, saw me. Then we were like, oh, we've not spoken in like
we don't know
9
each other,
months.
but we know each other.
But we know each other so well, because as soon as you're back together,
Yeah.
you click and everything
Exactly.
falls into place. I think that's the sign of a healthy friendship, to be honest with you. Love that. I have the most maybe weird and niche question that you've ever been asked in your entire life.
Okay, I'm ready.
I need to know,
I'm curious if I've ever been asked this before.
what does Abby Lee Miller smell like?
I've never been asked that before.
She gives me the vibe of somebody that would wear the same signature fragrance every day for like 40 years.
Yeah, she kind of just like, that's actually such an interesting question.
I feel like she would have like a
Interesting's a
really
good word there.
like a fragrance that in her teen years was like the cool fragrance, and then she started to wear it, and now she's like, I swear by this.
It's
I
like
only
Ed
ever wear
Hardy,
this.
some shit.
Yes,
Like she like
yes.
sticks to the plan. Yeah,
I feel that.
she just kind of like, I don't know. Her scent's very just like, I feel like it's a mix of hairspray.
Right, that makes
You
sense.
know what I mean? I feel like she smells like a bit of hairspray, because initially I wanted to say she smells of hairspray, and that would check. So that makes a lot of sense. Wow, yeah, she I don't.
Such a funny question to see you try and maneuver around.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like the last time I smelled her, where I was at. You know when people walk into a room and you smell them?
Yes.
She's
Yeah.
not one of those people.
Right, okay.
Not
so
a
she
good
doesn't
nor
have a
bad.
signature fragrance.
Not really.
Okay,
She's just
okay.
kind of like, she's the furthest thing from bland, Abby Lee, but she's just kind of bland in the scent. Does smell like hairspray.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Hairspray checks out so much.
Yeah. How old is she now?
How old is
a
Abby Lee Miller?
fantastic
She has to be like 60s, right?
She's looking good for her age, is Abby Lee.
Oh, she 59.
59.
59. The big 60s coming up. You better be invited
This
to that
is-
birthday party.
Oh, I better be. Absolutely. I'll probably be throwing it knowing her. I think she's one of those people in my life that like, I shouldn't talk about this, but I'm going to. But like, I have a really morbid sense of humor sometimes, but like, it's not meaning to be funny. It's meaning to actually be like quite sentimental. Like, Abby Lee, for me, I think about this often. Like, the day she passes away, that is going to be like when Betty Crocker, like, you know what I mean? Like,
100%.
that when the news article comes out, Abby Lee Miller died age X, like, picture the like, what?
Do you know that the only time that I started to have those exact same thoughts as you was when that TikTok trend started to happen?
Where it was a joke.
Where it was a joke.
Yes.
And then it made me
Wait, it
think...
was a joke that she died.
No. There was that trend where they'd go up to their parents and they'd film them, and they'd
that
be
was
like,
it, yeah.
they'd
Oh
be
my
like,
God.
the lead singer of like this band in the 80s has just died or whatever, and then they'd be like, what? Like
Like, it freaks
and
them out.
Honestly, people were doing it about Abby Lee Miller
Yeah.
because she is one of those people that
She's
you're like,
just an
what?
icon.
Yeah, it's crazy.
She
Kris
seems-
Jenner as well. I feel that same
It's
energy.
the people that seem like they're not real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love that you have that mindset of it, despite the fact that you've
Babe.
known her the majority of your life.
Yeah, babe. Abby Lee Miller's not real. I will always say that.
But so Dance Mums,
Yes.
JoJo rose out of that. She
Yes.
became a global superstar.
It was yesterday. Now she's here. Fell asleep
you-
and I woke up with this career.
Something that I saw, even being outside of, I feel like the Dance Mumsy sort of world, is the JoJo merch sort
Yeah.
of flying off the shelves.
The merch was
Crazy.
crazy.
Do you know how many JoJo Siwa products there were out there?
I actually don't. Isn't that wild? I don't know. I know there was over 8,000 different bows. So different SKUs
Different
of bows,
styles
different
of bow.
patterns, size,
so
colors, stones, different, patterns of bows.
And
But
I
then,
assume all of those would have been selling.
yeah, the
Oh,
bows,
big time.
That's
yeah, the bows
insane.
were crazy.
8,000
There's been
different-
over 90 million sold of just the bow.
Oh my God.
Like-
how much does a bow cost?
It retails anywhere from like $4.95 at stores to like $16.95 at stores.
Oh my God. I know that your
that
mom.
math does not add up.
I know that your mom is like
Doesn't
the
add up.
manager of all managers.
Yeah.
So I pray that you had like the best deal with that ever.
Yeah, no, did not. But it's
Oh
okay.
my God. Oh my God.
Wait, did you say with my mom?
No, with like
Oh.
the merchandising
did not.
deal and
I have the
everything.
best deal with my mom.
Oh,
The
yeah.
deal
Oh
with
my
my mom
Mum's
is there is
taking
no
all
deal.
of
That's so wild to
Yeah.
me.
What was the roguest thing that you've? What's something that you sold that you're like, do you know what? I'm the only person that's done that.
Ooh, I mean, I think for me, it was always really cool when there was like a collab. Like, because I had all these like original products, right? But I loved like we did JoJo X Band-Aids. So I had like Band-Aid brand Band-Aids.
Love
I
that.
had
think I saw
JoJo
that.
X Kellogg's. I had cereal. We had JoJo ice cream. That was really cool. We did JoJo X Build-A-Bear. That
I
was
once
really
saw
cool.
a JoJo Siwa curry.
What?
I actually
No.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I saw
I know
a picture
exactly
of a
what you're
JoJo Siwa
Yep.
curry and it was like neon pink.
Yep.
That is
Yep.
insane.
That I do think was a fake product.
Oh my
I've
God.
seen like JoJo Jewels. I've
Right,
seen all those.
okay.
I've seen all that shit.
So
But
I love that you're not even sure yourself. 'Cause I don't
no,
think
that
I
was the
signed
thing.
up on that.
That was actually a massive argument in my childhood. Is I never knew what was coming out. I never knew what. I never got approval over things, and I always got really frustrated as a kid because I was like, I just want to know.
Of course. If your name is going to be attached to something, then you kind of, as an outsider, I feel like people who maybe are a bit naive to the industry and how things all work, they would assume that you are in the lab, like, and I want that one, that one, that one, and like you're testing everything.
Yeah.
But 9 times out of 10, especially with younger people, they sign these deals and then the company and the
over.
fine print just like run away with it.
Exactly.
And then you don't even really know what's happening.
And there was times where like I fought to pull products off the shelf because I, as a kid, I was always side ponytail and bow, and they would do a doll with piggy buns, and I'd be like, you're not selling a character, right? You're selling a JoJo. So then we just kind of made it a thing. They could only make things modeled after a look that I've already done. So then that kind of cleared that. But yeah, crazy.
Absolutely wild. Like what? a life.
Absolutely mental, babe.
Can I say I know I can tell that you've been in a house with British people for the last 3 weeks. The amount of
Mate.
times that you've said babe since you've got
Babe,
here.
mate, brilliant, bloody. I was eating a biscuit the other day, just like a tea biscuit, whatever.
Yeah.
And I was eating it, and it was when Donna and I were the old married couple.
Love Donna.
I love Donna so much. She's the sweetest angel. Anyways, we were the old married couple, and I go, under my breath, I was like, bloody hell, that's amazing. And Donna just started pissing laughing because she was like, bloody hell, that's amazing. Like, and I was like, did I just say that? She was like, you just said that. And I was like, oh, okay, great.
I mean, even calling it a biscuit, that's not American.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. And I got to go for a wee. Where's the toilet?
Oh my God.
I'm going to wash
damn.
up. Like,
Oh
I'm
my
going to
god,
do
our
the
British
washing.
queen.
Oh, as soon as you go back, everyone's going to be wondering what the hell's happened to you.
No, I literally thought that because, like, I was telling the Big Brother producers, I was like, look, I didn't put this person on my list for phone calls, but if I can have a phone call back home, I want to speak to my best friend Malia because we have this language that just needs to be heard. Like, our phone calls are like, wakey, wakey, Sister Sue, rise and literal. And she'll be like, what's, like, she'll say, like, what's the latest and greatest, troops? And I'd be like, oh, just still the one, never the two. And she'd be like, you are the one, sister, never the two. And I'd be like, bye-bye. And she'll say bye-bye. And we know what that means to
I
each other.
love that so much.
But now I'm going to go home and I have all this, like, proper language.
yeah,
It's
you'll
gonna
have
be
to teach
like,
her
hello?
your new skills.
No, literally.
Oh my
What's
god.
your favourite word that you've learned?
My favorite word that I've learned, Danny taught me the word mingin. I love
Oh
mingin.
yeah,
I
that's
like
That
mingin.
feels like a very
Now.
Danny word.
It does.
Yeah.
I like that. Me and Chris are the Jed words. I think that's hilarious.
So funny. Do you know how much Jedward were interacting with everything to do with Celebrity Big Brother while she were in there? Like
As they should.
would comment on even when I put they are the first. I think they have post notifications on for literally
sure.
everything.
Everybody, yeah. Even I get some of them.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
They will immediately comment. They loved when you were in the diary room. Obviously, you might not have seen it yet, but you were in
Yeah.
the diary room with Chris, and then Big Brother's like, "We feel like you're the Jedward or something," and then
Yeah.
Jedward loved.
I mean,
that.
they had to eat that up.
Oh my
That's-
god.
Yeah, that was really funny actually when that came all.
Oh my gosh, honestly, it's so iconic. Speaking of something that happened while you were in the house, your mum was obviously running your socials.
Yes.
Iconic queen, by the way.
No, like me being like, oh, you're taking it over for real for the rest of my life.
Oh,
Like,
slayed.
I told her I had 2 game plans of what I was going to do for my social media. Okay, I was going to either say I made a list of people in my life, and I was going to say get a different video perspective of me, the way I am from these people, and have them share it. Or here is a bunch of videos that I've already pre-made. You can post them as you want. Good luck. Or post a lot of Big Brother stuff. And and she took the route of post the videos that I made and the Big Brother stuff. You know what I loved? Her captions. Her
iconic.
captions, I pissed laughing. I will say, when I found out she posted my Rapunzel audition, I wanted to rip her neck off.
I was going to ask you about that because that seemed like the most mum move in the entire world. And obviously, I have just met you now.
Yeah.
But I know how I would be if my mum was like running away with my socials and she was just like, oh, and JoJo, by the way, I posted this audition tape that you did.
An audition so vulnerable, right?
So
'Cause,
vulnerable.
like,
and it was also so good, by the way.
Thank
I could
you.
so
Thank
see it. Like all the facial expressions, everything, like it gave me Rapunzel vibes. It really did.
Thank you. That means so much. Honestly, at first, I flipped a real boat because I thought she posted the singing audition, and if she did that, it would have been game over. Honestly, I probably wouldn't have called her when I got out of the house. Like, I would have been livid.
Do we know why she posted it? Sorry, go on.
I think she just wanted to. Like, she had it. It was a mom video, and she was having fun with it.
Oh, bless her.
But yeah, I literally was like, dear God. But an audition is just so vulnerable, and an audition isn't work that you're proud of,
No, of
right? You're
course.
just like pitching an idea.
Yeah.
You're trying different things. You're approaching the character.
It was very informal. It was just like, it wasn't
this was out of
a
nowhere.
well-produced thing. And you could tell that
No.
it was like a first
And
sort
also
of-
with that audition, I did one how Rapunzel would be, one kind of how I would do Rapunzel, maybe a little flair I would add, and then one where it's like, I'm gonna just go rogue.
Yeah.
Honestly, I didn't even watch it. I don't know which one she posted, but like,
I think that she posted the more Rapunzel one because it felt very true to that character.
Okay.
That would have
I'll
been
take
funny
it.
if you just went for the rogue one.
Oh
Just
my
really
God,
just
it's just
threw
you,
under the
like-
bus.
like me being like,
Black
First
hair,
day you're in the house,
black
just-
wig.
I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. Like,
It's so iconic though. That is the most
mom
because
move.
your
also
mom.
her comments, her just snapping at people in the comments,
So brilliant.
and everyone knew it was her was the funny part, but she was replying as if she was me.
Oh, was it like hate comments that she was replying to and stuff?
She would,
Oh, she
someone
was
would say
saying-
like, I'm first, and she'd reply like, no, you're not, try harder. Like, she was like going off in the comments.
Oh my God. She is the most lovely. By email and everything, she's just been so kind.
Oh,
like
thank
exactly what you would imagine she's like. She is like
Thank
that. But I just felt it was so funny when she posted the
She's
Rapunzel thing.
So funny.
That's
She's,
such a mom move.
like, I didn't mind the Sprite one. I didn't care that she posted
Yeah,
that because I was
yeah,
like,
yeah.
that's funny. But the vulnerability in the Rapunzel audition
So-
is crazy.
When you
So
can't do
iconic.
anything about it as well, you just come
And
out
have
and see everyone's
no
already seen it.
clue. Have no clue.
Oh, you from the show went into a full-blown children's entertainer sort of role, I would describe it. Like the content that you were putting out on your
Yeah.
socials, your YouTube, you did collabs with Northwest, doing
Yes.
slime. You did was it a world tour or
I did, yeah.
frigging
World tour.
crazy?
Wait, how
like,
old were you when you did the world tour?
I started when I was 15, and it took me all the way through the time I was 19.
Jesus.
It's
crazy.
crazy, George. This woman is it's like
Crazy. I was
she's-
16 for the bulk of it. I was 16
Yeah.
for the bulk
Oh my
of it.
God, the clips of that, like you were in stadiums,
Crazy.
JoJo.
I did the O2 over here. Like,
mental.
crazy.
Just beyond crazy.
I wanted to. Sorry, this is the one. Like, this is the one thing that I'll just make any excuse to bring.
Oh my
up
God,
in
I'm
my
so
life.
excited.
But I wanted to really like set a record on the tour. I didn't care what the record was, but I wanted to set some sort of record. And I set the record for the youngest person to ever perform, headline, and sell out the O2 Arena.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
That is the biggest slay ever.
It's my one thing. Like, I want to get like youngest person to sell out the O2 Arena.
Oh
Just, like,
my God.
because
You're
that
gonna
to
do the full
me,
tour list. Just all the way down the aisle.
I was the youngest person to sell out the O2 Arena in 2016.
Oh my God. So how old were you when you sold
I
it
was
out?
16.
Oh my
That's
God,
gonna take some
JoJo.
beating. I don't know how.
Yeah, and
I
what's
could
cool is I set 3 records. So even if somebody younger performs but doesn't sell out or
Mm.
doesn't headline, you know what I mean? It was like a pure.
So
Crazy.
crazy. And yeah, like I mentioned, the collabs that you did, Northwest asked to go to your house. She was so obsessed with you that she was like, I obviously using her mom's superpowers that she has.
Of course.
It is my dream mom to go to JoJo Siwa's house. Okay, that's gonna happen. What was that like for you?
Honestly, it was really cool. It was just like, I think you can see in the video, I keep going like this because I'm like sweating and I can feel it. No, North was a sweetheart. Kim was absolutely lovely. Yeah, it just was like, it was surreal. It was really quick. It was an hour. And it just was like, what's happening?
What is happening?
And it's like, there's some people in life, and I'd met Kim Kardashian at a book signing, so as a fan, and there's some people in life that you just don't believe actually exist. Like, it's kind of what we were talking about
100%,
before.
100%.
And it's like when they're there living, breathing in front of you, it feels like, honestly, very similar to Big Brother, where it's like, is this real? Am I dreaming? Did I actually do this? Am I asleep? It's like, disorientating.
Yeah, 100%.
Who else have you met that's given you that sort
Ooh,
of
Elton
feeling?
John, for
Wow.
sure.
The
Miley
fact you could just
Cyrus.
rip off these
Yeah.
Yeah, I could just give you my.
Do you
my
say
list.
Miley Cyrus?
Miley Cyrus.
Oh my God, you give me Miley vibes.
That
like
is
Yeah.
my favorite compliment. in the
really,
whole wide world.
really hard. I think I said it in that video, that cringe video that I showed you before.
No, I love it.
Because you so do like, it's basically like a mirrored kind of lifestyle to me.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, look, my childhood was mad inspired by Hannah Montana, and then, this last year of crazy, was definitely inspired by bangers. But then I realized, oh, that's not me. Oh, man, that's not me. And honestly, that's why I'm really excited that I got to do Big Brother, because it feels like I got to actually be me,
A reset.
and just like not hide my genuine self. You know what I mean? Like, this is me.
That was what
Take
was
it or
most
leave it.
fascinating about it, truly, getting to see who you are.
Yeah.
Like, Hannah Montana has Hannah and Miley. I feel like it was Miley in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was JoJo and Joelle.
Yeah.
But it was, I don't know, it's weird because JoJo and Joelle, same thing, same person.
Mm-hmm.
But the more and more that I'm kind of realizing it, the more and more I kind of realize that like I'm almost creating a separation. And I even feel myself sitting here right now. I'm trying, because this is the first interview that I've done since being on Big Brother. And I noticed something in me. I noticed when I came out of the house and I sat down on the couch I guess I got interviewed on Big Brother. But I immediately, without consciously thinking about it, went into, oh my God, yeah, it was the best time in there. And I went into that mode of snap into it. Whereas for the last 20 days, what the world saw for me was like chiller, which is
Yeah.
like what I've always tried to get across to people. But it was interesting. Then we go to Late and Live. There's a crowd. I'm having fun. They asked me to do a thank you video. And thank you so much, world. I love you guys so much. And that's also me. But then all of a sudden I'm back and I'm upstairs and I'm having a conversation and I'm back down here and I'm back to earth and I feel connectable. And I go on social media that night and for the first time, and people were on that video being like, whoa, that's not the JoJo that we just saw. We want the other one back. And so it's weird. I find myself like, I don't know why I started talking about this, but making a conscious effort right now. Oh, the JoJo, Miley. Making a conscious effort right now to be like, don't
be like,
don't try and
what you think people want to see. Sort
yeah,
of.
just sort of be. And
That is so normal though. Like
Yeah, it's-
everything that you've just said, obviously I can, on a way lesser scale than
Yeah.
you, we perform, we get in front of
Yeah.
a camera and we do our job.
Yeah,
And when you're,
it's natural a little
when
bit.
the role that you play like in your job is also you, I think it's really hard when the lines get blurred and you can almost
The
be
gray
like,
area
oh
is
my
practically
God,
impossible.
yeah, like obviously completely different. But I just did a show, which obviously we all know that I like to bring up at any given opportunity because I'm an attention seeker. I was just on I'm a Celebrity to Get Me Out of Here, where they like put you in
How
a jungle.
was it?
It was hell, Jojo.
How
It was
long did you
crazy.
survive?
I was in there for 29 days. So and then
What's the
like
length?
up until the 30 days. So I got eliminated the day before the final.
Bullshit.
And in it, like robbed.
Robbed.
But that same thing of everybody up until that point that had seen me through social media or whatever had only seen the version that I put out, where like I am being witty or talking about a specific topic and trying to be funny. Whereas
Yep.
in there, some of my most like viral and well-known moments were literally just me not even thinking about anything.
That's what I'm noticing.
Yeah,
like,
and it's strange to come to terms with.
exactly. Like when I wasn't even thinking, and now I'm seeing people loving that. I'm seeing people loving just fun dancing. I'm seeing people loving me brushing my teeth. Like
Yeah.
it's cool to see that.
That you are enough.
Is that like
cool.
a relief sort of
It's
feeling, or what
It's
is the...
weird because it like there's two parts of me, right? There's the part of
Yeah.
me that like loves to put my face paint on, loves to put a costume on, loves to go on stage, loves to perform, loves to be like over the top. But then there's also the piece of me that's like, what does it look like if I didn't do that? But I still did that, but I didn't do that. And so I don't know. I think it makes me relieved to when it comes like trying on TikTok. Like I try so hard to be this like I'm here personality, right? Whereas now I feel like I literally can be honest, be like, here's what's happening today, and like not try to force anything. And it is a relief. It is.
I guess that kind of comes with like also obviously because you started on camera so young and your
Yeah.
audience was young. You're sort of like growing up with your audience.
Yeah, and reality TV is so different than social media, right? Reality TV is you're living and then you don't see what goes out. So that, you're picking the best of the best moments. But then social media, you're picking what's there, right? So you can kind of fudge anything.
Yeah, that makes so much sense. And do you know, weirdly, as we're talking about this, I'm kind of coming to the realization that what you're talking about is almost like drag in a sense. Like
It
with
is.
Danny,
Yeah,
like
no,
for
it definitely
example,
is. Love
I
him.
was a huge fan of Danny before going into the
course.
show. I don't listen to his podcast, so I didn't know what he's like outside of drag. Like
Yeah.
I'd watch him on RuPaul's Drag Race
Yeah,
and
of course.
be Danny Beard sort of thing.
But getting to see him.
Exactly. But then, likewise, on Big Brother, you really saw completely Danny in his true form, and I think a lot of people in the entertainment industry will really relate to this.
It's cool,
this
yeah.
sort of conversation.
And I think just people in life, you know, I think sometimes maybe you pretend you're going to school and you have to put a show on, but it's
masking,
like all
people
good.
call
Yeah.
it, where like you're masking and you're
Yeah.
putting on something to kind of protect yourself.
Yep.
So I think it's really nice that you've kind of had this realization where just being you is enough, because it really is.
It's cool. It's been a good realization. I think
my
it's one
God.
that I've needed to have.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so.
feel like I
love
just
that. I love
breathe
that
again.
for you. I love that for
Yeah.
you.
And I feel like I don't know. I feel like I was really stressed in the house. On day we were there 19 days, so on day 18. And I started to feel really like, what's going on out there? What are people thinking of me? Maybe 17. It might have been 2 days before we left. And I was like, what's going on? What are people thinking of me? And then I realized, hold on, pause. I've had the best 20 days. I've had so much fun. I've loved what I've done. I've loved the experience I've created. I've loved the friendships that I've made. Whatever's going on out there, whether people like it or hate it, I have had such a great time in this 17 days that I was there. And so I was like, it's all good. It's all good.
100%. I feel like towards the end of those sorts of shows, again, like when I was in the jungle, it is like those 2 days before I knew I was going to be leaving is when the outside noise starts to come back into your brain.
Yep.
And I remember feeling so relaxed and content without that outside noise.
Yep.
Like I felt like the purest form of myself.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I started to remember all that, I was like freaking out,
It's
like, oh
weird.
my God, it's coming back and real life's
Yeah.
going to hit me, and all these
Yes.
friendships that I've got that are so pure and genuine, and what if it's not the same? And like,
That's okay.
freaking
I'm
out.
not gonna lie. That's what I have kind of processed today. Is the 13 people that I got to know. Obviously, I'm not super close with all of them, but what does my relationship dynamic look like with each of them outside of
You don't know yet.
being in the Big Brother house?
Yeah.
And I don't know yet. Like I've FaceTimed Donna quite a bit and spoken with Donna over text quite a bit, and that's been lovely. I've spoken to Chris and I've seen Chris, and that's been lovely. But even then, like, it's brief. Like, it's just different. You know what I mean?
Because
Like,
real life is
Yeah.
happening.
real life is happening.
You know, and it gets in the way of a lot of things. Like you said, your best friends who
Yeah.
you get to see once a year.
Once a year,
And then
it's
you
like,
click.
And
But-
I'm like, I'm terrified to leave here. Like, what's it look like?
Oh
You know
my
what I
God.
mean? It's like,
I mean, I feel like I had I don't know if you know what, I went on Inside, Sidemen's, like, sort of Big Brother-y sort of thing, and I feel like I had a similar thing where I got quite close to a few of the American people.
yep.
And then they obviously went off to America, didn't really see much of them, and then now when they came back for like the premiere and stuff, got closer to them again, and it's just
Good.
like a complete different
That's what
vibe
I'm like.
to being
It
in the
feels
house.
like,
weird.
yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like once you're together, it's like that,
Yeah.
and it's like a bond you can't break. And like
Mm.
it was interesting to go out, and then I mean I only saw Chris for 20 minutes. This was yesterday, but it was like we were like literally right back in the house, and then when we split, it was like literally we're out of the house, and it's like that. Like I'm curious if it'll be like that with everybody. You know what I mean? I did see
Yeah.
Angelica for a bit. And it's like.
Yeah.
It's like the weirdest switch.
Wow,
But it
because
is-
you have this shared experience that only you guys can relate
That's
to, which
what
is
we had
what
to
will
talk about.
bond you.
Only us know the 24 hours that went
yeah,
on each day.
So crazy.
So much everybody missed out on. I haven't watched the
Yeah.
episodes yet, so I don't know exactly what's been seen. But I have shared stories with my mom, and she's like, "No, we didn't see that. No, we didn't see that."
Wow.
Well, there was a live stream, was there?
Yeah,
Not
so
like
they
I
had
saw-
Yeah.
they have a live stream, a 24-hour live stream, but whenever anything interesting happens, they blur the screen and start playing bird noises.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
so you don't ever get to say if there's a conversation or an argument happening that they know they want to include in the show,
Got
they
it.
like blur it. So every now and
Got it.
again you'd see the beginning of something happening.
But then
or-
once they're like,
and
"Oh, we
then-
might want this," that's
yeah,
cool.
so-
I also too saw like us like at the end dancing when we were having our big dance party. The live stream was happening, but there was no music. The live stream couldn't hear the music that was playing. Looks so awkward. It looks so awkward.
What was the deal with music in there? Was there any music that you're allowed to?
Yeah, we heard music occasionally.
Yeah.
Sometimes like so when we would wake up in the mornings, it would either be just lights, or when we had a task, you'd be woken up with music. So we heard for the cat, we heard "What's New, Pussycat?" Whoa, whoa, and it's loud.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Easter, how do you like your eggs in the morning? I like them with a kiss. The family day, something like in the neighborhood. Oh, come on. It's from a TV show or movie.
Like Full House or something. Or
Our house
In the middle of our street. Our house. Yes.
So also, all these songs though are English. I don't know any
yeah,
of
of
those. So that was fun to hear.
You just woke up in a weird daze.
No, literally me in the morning being like, and everyone's singing like, what's happening?
Oh my God.
And then we would hear occasionally, like anytime we had like little dance parties, we would hear like 3 or 4 songs.
I love that.
Except for the last night. The last night, the producers I think were having a great time giving us some tracks because they were like playing music conveniently with like who was dancing. Like it all checked.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so exciting.
I was gonna say, what were the other rules in there? So you had, obviously you were allowed bits of music, like no phones, no.
You don't have your phone. You don't have contact to the outside world.
Do you have time? Any concept of time in there?
We had one clock that's on the oven. And so you could go and check it. But like in the morning, you didn't know what time you were waking up. You never knew what time you were falling asleep. We judged it as it was kind of like 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. is when we slept. You don't have control over the lights. You don't have control over like the outlets. Like if you want the like hot tools for your hair, like you have to ask for them. And sometimes Big Brother will, sometimes Big Brother won't.
It's a perfect experiment to make you lose
Yeah.
touch with reality.
Yeah.
Like they do so many things. Even I got to go in the Big Brother house last year for their first season to like help promote it. And the lights are so strong in there.
So
And it would
bright.
be so hot in certain areas. And then I asked someone and I was like, why is it so hot like in this corner? Like when you're walking towards the diary room, I remember it was boiling. And somebody said like that they thought it was psychologically when you're feeling hot or the lights are really
will.
bright,
Yeah.
you feel more likely to like
The
I'll just want to
lights-
get my emotions out and
Fuck.
like
The lights are crazy.
That's insane.
And they're always on. And
Yeah.
It's always bright. And it's always too hot or always too cold. It's never right.
that's why people wear sunglasses during the day, like because as
Yeah.
soon as
Yeah, or
you
in the
wake up the
morning.
lights are on and it's so bright
Yeah.
that it must actually, because you have like studio lighting
Yeah.
in the house.
You get
Yeah.
all your own clothes and stuff. Right?
You
Or is
get all
that-
your own
yeah.
clothes. Sometimes like some of the boys got like socks and underwear purchased for them because all of theirs were like super branded and you can't have super branded stuff. But yeah, you bring all your own clothes. You're responsible for all your own hair and makeup. It's pretty intense. It's pretty intense. You don't get much in there.
No.
Yeah.
What made you make the decision to do Celebrity Big Brother?
Oh, I didn't even have to think twice.
Really?
Literally, it was like, do you want to do it? And I said yes. And my team was like, and I was like, no, it's happening.
It's such an iconic show.
It's so iconic. I love reality TV. I love doing games and things like this. And honestly, I think there's so many reasons why I did this show. But I think, truthfully, I needed to have 20 days to figure myself out. And I had so many realizations in these 20 days, so many realizations about my personal life, so many areas of my personal life that I'm not happy in, but I'm, pretending like I am. And I'm really not, and I need to make changes. I craved talking to my mom because I was like, what do I do with these changes? Like, how do I navigate this that I'm feeling? How do I navigate this like really intense feeling that I cannot speak about, will not speak about, but I'm in my brain about, but I can't speak about.
Yeah.
And then, I had to sit with that from, essentially like day 1 and 2 was just like, woo, I'm here. But then like day 3 to 19 was just like constant brain thoughts of just like, whoa. And so I think really like, it was an experience that like was so needed in my life.
Life changing.
Massively.
When you're in a situation where you have none of the distractions that we rely on really in
Yes.
life, like you come to terms with the fact that
Yes.
actually as humans, we rely on these distractions a lot to distract us from the issues that we
Yes.
have in our lives.
It's the weirdest thing. And I also realized how much I let other people influence my choices. And I think that's a normal life thing, right?
Yeah.
But in a certain thing, like something that I was saying I was happy in when I really wasn't, but I wasn't when I was alone. But I realized what was happening is I was almost convincing myself that I was by telling everybody else I was because everybody else wanted to know. And obviously I'm going to say great things, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? But so then that puts in my head great things, but then I'm like, but wait, when I'm alone and I don't, you know what I mean? So it feels very like, it was a clarifying experience. It feels very like, oh, this is where I want to take my career. Oh, this is where I want to take my personal life. Oh, this is what I missed. This is what I don't miss. This is what I care about. This is, you know what I mean? It was very clarifying.
Well, it made me realize anyway when I did what I did that there's a reason why these billionaire celebs pay millions to go to these resorts that take all your things away from you, make you meditate every
Okay,
day.
White Lotus.
Like, because, yeah, literally though, like, because...
Wait, did you watch the season finale from this season?
No, I've not yet.
Okay, neither have I just want the spoilers.
Oh my God, okay.
Want to know who died.
But it really does, like, allow your brain... It almost reminded me, this is what our brains are supposed to feel like.
Yep.
This level of clarity
Yeah.
is actually what our design
Yeah.
is. But we don't allow that because... And I said when I got out, I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not going to go on my phone as much. I'm not going to do
Oh,
this.
babe.
I actually said the
Slip
same
straight
thing.
back into
This
it.
shit is right back in here. Like, I'm literally like, oh, okay, what did I miss while I've been in here?
It's crazy.
Was it like immediately after? Because I got my phone back. I think I messaged my family group chat and was like,
Mate.
I'm alive. And then just put it down. I was like, I want to survive outside for like 2 or 3 hours
I
at
did the
least.
same.
and just, like,
Once I opened it, it was game over. 'Cause all I wanted to do was go down memory lane. And
Yeah.
even today, like on the car ride over here, like I was just scrolling. I was making my own edits. Don't ask. Or do ask. It's actually kind of funny. But
it's just been there. It's all good.
yeah, but like
Happens all the time.
yeah, but like I don't know. It just was like it's just so fun like to see like I love seeing what we just did and I love seeing what the world saw and like
Yeah.
I know like the other people got to see me in the diary room, but I never saw what any of that looked like. And so it was cool to get to see like how it all played out.
So
That's so
fascinating.
true because you don't know what other people's
no clue what it
conversations
looks
are.
like.
You don't know what they're saying.
that
in
part
the
too. That's why I'm
diary
excited to watch
rooms,
the whole thing.
like,
to,
You're
like,
gonna watch the whole thing.
oh, of course.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's fascinating, JoJo. Like, let's take you back then to the day that you entered the house. Was there anybody that you instantly got weird vibes from?
I mean, I think obviously Mickey.
Yeah.
I think obviously Mickey.
Yeah.
We do call him Voldemort. So if we, want to stick to
He
that.
who shall not be named.
Yeah, Voldemort. We love Voldemort. No, yeah, definitely him. I wasn't sure on Michael, and I know Michael's political stance obviously makes people just naturally unsure. Anything having to do with politics makes half the people sure, half the people unsure.
Yeah.
I genuinely thought Chesney and I were going to like part ways. And like
Wow.
thought we were gonna have this 2 minutes together, and as soon as somebody else was in the house, was gonna be like, all right, we won't speak again.
Yeah.
And he's like literally
He seems so lovely.
so lovely. He's like a second dad. Like I love him.
I think he spoke a few times in the diary room about how the fact that his daughter is the same age as
Yeah.
you. And you could tell from the very beginning that he had
Yeah.
this soft spot for you.
even today, like he knows like everything that's going on in my life, and he's like, come over, family barbecue. Like everyone's
that's cute.
Donna's
He
invited me
gives
over.
that
Everybody
vibe.
has.
Oh
Chris
my
has. Like
God.
it's been lovely.
Oh my gosh. Well,
That's nice.
you spoke briefly on Mickey, Voldemort, as we say.
We can go more in.
Yeah.
Whatever you need.
He made viewers very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've watched back the scene where he basically said that he was he was going to make it so that you aren't gay anymore.
Yes.
Threatened to tie you up
Yeah.
and then used a homophobic slur.
Yeah.
How do you look back on that now as a viewer?
Yeah.
I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, was so proud of you.
Thank you.
Like the way
Thank
that
you
you
so
handled
much.
that with such grace and integrity, I feel spoke to every LGBT person watching that show or watching the clips from it, because I've never ever experienced such levels of homophobia and misogyny directed at me
Yeah.
in an enclosed
Yeah.
environment, and I don't know how I would react.
That's what was interesting, is neither had I. And look, it was day 2, but it was day 1, right? We'd slept and barely slept. And it was interesting because I'd never been faced with that either. And initially I got really sad and really upset. There was a bit more that happened than what was shown. I actually haven't seen the full thing, but I do know by talking to my family and telling stories that there was a bit more that happened that wasn't shown. And actually someone in my life got upset. Like, why did he not go away? Like, it's not fair that he went away over something he did to Chris when he did something even worse to you the day before. And I was like,
100%, yeah.
I was like, look, I understand that, but I also like physical violence. There's no tolerance there.
100%.
Okay, physical violence, emotional violence. What he did was horrible.
Yeah.
It was day 1, and I think that you can learn if somebody tells you, hey, look, that's fucked. You cannot do that. You cannot say that. You cannot go there. And I think you did get to see, I almost made it my mission to take Mickey on a journey and to say, okay, look, you hurt me. You're creepy. This is weird. You're not nice, but there's a reason why. And I realized I was going to get to be an example of how to handle somebody like this, whether that be a good example or a bad example. Didn't know, but I realized I'm going to have a chance to go through this adventure. And the Big Brother team was incredible. They made sure that I felt safe. Chris was incredible at making sure I felt safe, swapping beds, like making sure that I had a gap between us. So like all that, like everybody really rallied. Everybody in the house rallied.
You could see that.
I honestly, it was day 2, so like everyone was scared to talk, but I was like, am I the crazy one here? Like, am I being too sensitive? That's what I was so afraid of. Am I being too sensitive?
It was crazy watching it, and you almost like gasped and then like looked away, and like Jack was just like giving him a cup of tea and everything, and it was like, what's happening? It was.
I feel like
there was this moment, sorry, not to cut you off.
No, that's all good.
There was this moment in the kitchen actually that happened, and forgive me if this has been shown, but I've been told it hasn't, so I don't know. There was a moment in the kitchen that happened a little after where him and I got into it again. And
that wasn't shown.
He mentioned that he was doing it on purpose.
Oh.
And that's what really upset me, but that's actually what fueled me to be like, oh, you're broken inside.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, what happened to you as a kid? And that's like, even when he said to Christopher, when he said, "Are you eyeballing me?" Which is like the most iconic line of the whole series. "You eyeballing me?" After that, I don't, and I haven't seen all this play out, but I took him inside, got him into the diary room. He came out of the diary room. They were having a sentimental chat with Ella outside, so I found him and I was like, let's go back inside and let's just go sit. So just keep him calm. You know, I'm the captain here. You listen to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I sat down with him and I explained to him, like, look, obviously what you just did isn't cool, but also, look, we've had decent conversation with each other. I'm not condoning this behavior, but I also understand that probably happened to you when you were 7 years old. And some older man in your life probably looked at you and said, "Are you eyeballing me?" And then probably punched you. And you could see he started to be like, ooh.
I'm repeating the
And
patterns.
and just like, you know what I think he needed? And I think this is, it's scary to say because you're in hot water here and I want to be careful. But I think he needed a little bit of sympathy. I think he needed someone to feel sorry for him. And I think he needed someone to try to want to be his friend. When I came into the house as JoJo, he didn't like me. He wanted nothing to do with me. That's clear. Once I was Billy and he saw a little friend in me, he liked it and he wanted that. And then after I was Billy and he realized that was me and I kind of had a banter with him, that's when he was like, wait a second. And I think that people in his life I think he's had a weird life, right? I think he's not a great man, and I will stand behind that. But I think he's had a really weird life that has to be even weirder now where he's at. And I think he needed somebody to almost stretch past that for a second. We can go back to it, but just stretch past it and talk about baseball.
Yeah.
How long has it been since someone's talked to Mickey Rock about baseball?
Yeah, so true.
People only are going to talk to him about his movies, about his problems, about his attitude and his anger. No one's going to be like, so what sport did you play as a kid? No one cares anymore. And so it's interesting, like once he kind of got to have those conversations and he got more humanized, he started to get more curious about the LGBTQ community and not how to not offend them and how, to talk about drag queens and how to talk about transgender people. And he started to like actually want to know these things. And so it was, again, I also think it was an example of, for him, like people like him on how not to be, you know what I mean?
I think it was such a complex issue because, and you could see how much it confused all of you in the house because he would do something that is so abhorrently wrong. And then 2 minutes later, he'd be having a conversation where he seemed very open to learn. And then you'd educate him and he'd be like, oh my God, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I even remember at one point he said that he used to be a bouncer at an LGBT bar, which is then so confusing that you're saying things like that. But maybe that's what they used to say back then and it was all okay. But you did a really good job of educating him. Here's where we are now and these words are no longer okay.
If you yell at him, if you criticize him, you are going to get nowhere.
Yeah.
And I think people, especially older people, do not want to learn by younger people. They don't want to do it. If a 12-year-old tries to tell me what to do, I'm like, grow up.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing. And that's ignorant on my behalf.
No,
the 12-year-old
but
actually
it's the way that we're built, though.
Yeah, but they might know better than me. And so I think by leading him through a bit of patience, a bit of, you were a dick to me, but I'm not going to let that make me be a dick to you. That's what he wanted. You know what I mean? And it's not who I am. I'm not going to be a dick back to you.
No, it was really beautiful to see.
Complicated, but
it's so complicated. And I think that they ultimately made the decision that he was too
once
chaotic
Yeah.
and unpredictable to
Yes.
have
Oh,
there,
yeah.
which I think is
Yeah.
the right decision. But like you said, it's sad.
what's crazy
that-
is like none of us knew what happened. We don't know if he decided, if they decided. We didn't know what happened. But it was shortly after you eyeballing me. But yeah, he made his
he's
grand
gone.
exit.
He's
I
gone.
feel like it's from like an outsider point of view. Obviously, you guys have had to deal with that sort of thing in the past, maybe on a smaller scale or whatever. But as you say, it's strange because obviously I don't see it firsthand ever, but seeing it happen, being like, I was like aware this sort of stuff was said. It's weird to see on such like a public forum and like
Right.
everything to.
Well, that was another question that we were all having. Like, will that even be shown? Because it is so controversial
Yeah.
and it is so
Hurtful.
horrible and hurtful, not just to me who he's saying it to, and to Danny and to Michael, who are a part of the community, but it's so hurtful to a whole community of people. And so it's like, will that even make it? And all of us were like, we hope it does, because it's going to show two things. It's going to show how not to be and how to handle somebody who is.
Yeah.
And I think
it really
that's
did
beautiful.
that. It really did that. And I think we have to remember sometimes that we kind of live in a bubble.
Oh, yeah.
Of like, you're in LA, we're here
Well,
in
that's
London. It's such a lot of the spaces that we are around are safe spaces.
our safe spaces.
And it's
People
a big
don't have
shock. It's a big shock. And that's why it struck such a chord in so many people watching that, because you were watching in real time someone yourself who has been raised in this protective and understanding bubble be faced with the harsh realities of what humans can be like sometimes. So perfect for the show, I
Exactly
think,
that,
because
though.
what a lesson to learn.
Yeah,
that,
oh, yeah.
No matter how safe we feel, that behavior is not uncommon in a
in
lot of
so
places
many
around
places.
the world.
We have a bubble.
Yeah.
And that's what I was telling everybody on the show. I was like, or in the house, I was like, look, I've never been faced with this because I have a bubble around me. It's a beautiful bubble, but like in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, and it was so horrible to see. Like,
And people deal with that with family, with friends, with
Yeah.
school. And so I think it was cool to be able to kind of set a version of how to handle something
Yeah.
like
I think
that.
that shows again though why it was so like impressive the way that you reacted to it, because it would have taken a lot. Not like even if you received that sort of thing just day in day out,
Totally.
it would take a lot to react in the way that you did. But you
100%.
could have easily matched the levels and just sort of gone straight
And
back.
that-
and a lot of people would have.
You know what I just wanted to do with him? I just wanted to gentle parent him. And that's like the kind of parent that I want to be. I want to be a gentle parent. But I think he wasn't expecting that. You know what I mean? I think he thought,
And he's probably never had that, which is why he is the way that he is.
and getting to know him, he did have a rough childhood. Rough.
Some people, though, you kind of have to come to the conclusion that it's not your job to help them.
That was
and that's
literally
what
like
happened.
where it ended. It was
Yeah.
like, that's just, it might just be a lost cause.
I think it's so beautiful that you tried, though. I really do.
Gave it my best go.
You did. Well
For
done,
sure.
JoJo. Well done.
Thank you.
Your relationship with Chris, then?
Ah,
So beautiful to watch you two get so close so quickly.
Thank
and I
you.
think it speaks volumes to the experiment.
Yeah.
What do you think it was that instantly drew you to him?
we're very similar. We're very similar in our energy, in our outlook on life, in our, it was early on. It was the first Saturday night, and he was kind of feeling a little rough, and we got in on Tuesday, so it was pretty early on. And he said something. He said, I'm always on, right? And I have a big personality, but I feel like at home, I do turn off, and I, have my moments alone, and I just watch TV. And in here, I'm constantly around somebody, so I want to be big. I want to be. But I don't have that time. And as he said that, I was like, whoa, no one's ever related to that before. And it was about him, and I wanted to leave it about him. But I wanted to say to him, like, I'm feeling the exact same way. Or maybe I did mention that to make him not feel as lonely in that feeling. But yeah, I think we're very similar. We get comfort very similar.
Yep, that word.
Similarly.
Yeah. Similarly.
We get comfort in similar ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, we both just want to have fun in life. And I think that sometimes, especially in an environment like this, you do have people that want to get drama and want to get catty and want to get, creative with a storyline. Whereas Chris and I are like, woo, want to go dance or train? Like, let's make eggs. Want to wash dishes? Like, it's very chillin'.
It did just it did at points just feel like you were just watching two people have the best time with each other.
And we genuinely were. And what made it so special is Chris was there for me at my lowest times, and I was there for him at his lowest.
He was one of the
times.
first people to defend you in the Mickey situation.
Immediately. That's what
Yeah.
made me be like, oh, he's a good man. And, you know, people say things, but he did not need to do that in that moment. He could have also just said, Mickey, no, and just said that. But he actually stood up and he, you know, explained why he can't. And for him to do that now, if he didn't do that now, I'd be like, Christopher, find it.
Yeah.
But to do that on day 2,
It's crazy.
You don't know me.
No.
You don't know that that's really hurtful. And he did. And he offered to swap the beds. And then he had another conversation with Mickey after, like, even double downing, explaining why that's not okay. And he took on that role responsibly. And it was beautiful to see. And so I think that, like, obviously people say what they want to say about people, but that showed that showed Chris's true personality. And it was beautiful to see.
Yeah. I've met him a few times and he's always been so lovely.
I mean, he is somebody that I would want my children to be like. Like he
that's so
is
kind.
like, he's such a great gentleman. He is also just hilarious and a good ball of fun. And yeah, he just, I don't know, he's a special guy. Like, he really has such a great, lovely side of him that I think, you know, maybe the world doesn't see as often as they should. And I think Big Brother gave him that to just see, like, he's fun. He's chill. You know what I mean? He just,
So lovely.
all I want to do is laugh. All I want to do is dance.
One of the most common things that people were saying online, especially in the first few episodes of the show, was that it looked like he was being very flirtatious with you, and you were taking that as like you were almost constantly trying to friend zone him in a weird way. Did you experience that? Did you see that? Or did you see it all as playful banter?
I think all playful banter.
Yeah,
I really do. We have a great banter, and it was fairly immediate. Like, it just like, it's like two peas in a pod. Like, it just
I think
clicks.
it was like the third night. He's like stroking your lower back, like
Yeah,
in
giving
bed.
me back scratches. Who would pass? I would take back scratches from a stranger off the street. At least we knew each other for 3 days. Yeah, and also, like, that was also that third day, right, was the next day after the Mickey situation. And it was a time when I was feeling very low. I was feeling very low, and he was comforting me. And you don't have a mental comfort in that house yet. You know, now I would say past day 10, Chris absolutely was my mental comfort. But in those early days, you have no mental comfort. And so, yeah, he gave me incredible physical comfort. And I think as a human, sometimes a hug, a back scratch can go so far, so far. And it's funny that people question if it was.
That was everywhere, all over the internet.
Yeah.
People were like, Chris Hughes, Jesse Nelson's ex-boyfriend who was on Love Island, is in the Celebrity Big Brother house with JoJo Siwa, Queen of Gay
baby,
Pop.
that was you.
That was
That
me.
was you. That was
me.
your
Okay.
script.
Okay, you called me.
That's actually the exact video that
crazy.
we were pissed and laughing at yesterday.
Well, your mum
If you would've
reposted it.
If you would have told me in 2025 that Chris Hughes, whose ex-girlfriend is in Little Mick, is now in the Big Brother house with JoJo Siwa.
Queen of Gay Pop. Don't forget Queen of Gay Pop.
Dying. Queen of Gay Pop. CEO, babe. CEO of Gay Pop.
CEO. Sorry, your accurate title. I apologize.
Did you expect to see those comments when you came out, or were you like?
I mean, I think
Yeah.
I think it was
Was
like.
that a narrative in the house? Were the housemates saying similar things?
I think some of them were like playfully like, get a room, you two, and we would
that's
be
the
like,
thing.
shut up, grow up.
Yeah,
like,
because from the
find it.
outside, a lot of the audience reaction was like, oh my God, we're watching a love story unfold.
Yeah.
But then half of me felt like, well, nobody in the house is saying that.
Nobody in the house is
None
saying
of
that.
the other housemates were like,
Only thing the
oh my
housemates were
God.
saying is that we weren't genuine. And I was like,
Well,
babe,
yeah.
neither of us would tolerate each other if we were not genuine. Like,
Yeah.
there was literally no way we couldn't fake it. You're not hanging out with your friend for an hour and then dipping. You're constantly together. And like, that's something that I think a lot of people forget is you know, you're seeing 42 minutes, right? And so you were seeing the best of the absolute best. You're not seeing the rest. And like, I think that's something that's like, no, Chris and I are a purely platonic friendship. We have a very special bond. I think a lot of times these people come into your life. And I was explaining this actually to my friend this morning who had the same thing in my life where she came in and it was just, after an hour, it was like, you're meant to be here. You know what I mean? And I think I've had that happen to me a few times in my life. And yes, I will say Chris brings a friendship like no other that I've ever had. He's a very special friend, but keyword friend. You know what I mean? And yeah, people are gonna do what people do.
And it
Internet's
felt,
gonna do what the internet does.
People love to speculate, though.
Of course.
100%. And all of that attention, like all of those vibes inside the house, like people saying that you weren't genuine, etc., seemed to be, as a viewer, rooted in jealousy.
It's really interesting because Chris and I had a brief conversation in the house where we were kind of like, like, and so I don't know if it made it or not, but yeah, I think so. And I did understand that, you know what I mean? Like, everyone wants to feel included, but it was never like, it was, again, back to 24 hours to 42 minutes. I'll even say 12 hours because we're not awake all 24. But, you know, you're seeing 42 minutes of so much going on.
Yeah.
Yes, Chris and I went to a litter box and pissed together. But
Well, Jojo, that's coming up, babe, because I need some clarity on that. But yeah,
but like we had like those moments. It was him and I, right?
Yes,
Those moments when I needed somebody to make sure I was okay, it was him. When he was sad, he came to me. When we wanted to have fun and dance, we went to each other. But other than that, I mean, genuinely, Chris and Jack together. Most of the time in the house, I was alone watching Chris and Jack because they are so funny together.
that's so interesting. That wasn't shown anywhere near
At
as much.
all.
But
Chris used to do the
again-
funniest thing. It's got to be in there somewhere because he would always say Jack's name multiple times to get his attention. He'd be like, Jack, 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 you got to come see this. And so now I'll always be like, Jack, 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 Jack. He's always said it multiple times.
How interesting. I mean,
Yeah.
but again, exactly to your point of the 42 minutes, they're
Yeah.
making a TV show. Even the first
course.
episode, you kind of, from the very beginning of the show, you kind of saw Ella take, like she wanted some sort of relationship or friendship with Chris. It
Yes.
seemed that way.
Yes, of course.
And it instantly seemed like
As
he was
Everybody
diverted.
wants to. He's a lovely man.
There you go. But it seemed like he was diverting his attention to you, and then all of a sudden she started to say things like, "I don't think JoJo's genuine. I don't," and it seemed very transparent as a viewer. But obviously, being in there, the emotions are probably so intensified. I'm sure that she has come out and been like, "Oh my god, why did I care so much?"
Yeah, that's another thing. Everyone's emotions are so heightened in there, right? You are in a different mind space than you've ever been. I'll say Ella's a great girl. Like, there's, with everybody in the house, no tea, no shade anywhere. Like, it really was a great group of people. I think there were definitely moments, I think even, you know, in the like face-to-face nominations, the way she, you know, would, like, when Chris was talking to her and she was talking back to him, it felt very like
Unnecessary.
it felt very unnecessary. Yeah, but I think, again, you're in the heat of the moment. You're having people come at you. When you have people come at you, everyone does different things. I stand there and cry like a loser. Ella fought back.
I'd probably do
you
the
know what I
same.
mean? Yeah, and then I like literally stopped biting my nails, like, because Donna told me that it bugs her, and I got nominated for that. I would never bite a nail ever again. You know what I mean? Like,
I feel like in terms of people saying that they didn't think you guys were genuine, I feel like if that was like trying to sort of see it through their eyes.
yeah.
Sorry,
Finish.
I was just gonna say, because obviously they're in there and they're like, oh, this is how close I am with these people. There's no way people could be closer in this amount of time.
Exactly.
But obviously you guys just naturally are going to be closer, so you're going to
Exactly.
probably get a
And
question there.
there were lovely people. Chesney, Jack, Donna, all Angelica loved our bond, loved our friendship. And then honestly, everybody else to our faces said the same thing. And then you could feel the energy once it was like, when the grenade went off. That's what we call it, Daly's grenade. Daly's quotes a grenade. But you could feel that, right? And it did drive a little wedge between Chris and I for a day or two. And then once Danny...
That's sad.
Yeah, it was. Honestly, Chris was upset over it one night, and I was like, something's off, but like, he'll be okay. And then Danny brought it to light, and then it kind of made everything okay. And then I think it was the next day that he had his true breakdown. And that, honestly, getting out of the house and seeing that clip shattered my heart.
Yeah, it was very
shattered my heart because I
emotional.
knew he was sad. I was freaking out when he was in the diary room because I was like, something's up. And then when he came out, I saw it on his face. And he even said, like, you saw it on my face. And I was like, I did. And he was like, nobody else did, but you did. And I was like, no, it was... You learn when somebody looks like them, and when they don't look like them, you can tell. And it was interesting. He needed some space. And then I remember we were doing the grocery list, and he came over and he sat by me. And I was like, okay, he's done needing space, time to chat. And then I was like, it was hard. It was hard because we were feeling like okay, people don't think our friendship's genuine, so we need to A, clarify with each other, is our friendship genuine? That was the quickest thing to clarify. Yes, it is. Then we needed to B, clarify, okay, how do you feel about this with other people thinking this? Does it make you, and for me personally, like, it made me feel like now I couldn't be friends with you. Like, it made me feel like I had to, like, try hard to not sit by you at dinner. I had to try hard if you were doing the dishes to not help do the dishes, to, you know, put the food away. Like, it made me feel like I had to be on eggshells. And we realized, and I don't want to speak for him at all, but that was a thing that he said as well. Like, it just feels like eggshells. And so once we kind of worked that out, it honestly helped once it was aired out, because it was like, can I swear on here?
Yeah.
It was like,
time.
fuck it. Like, it was like, fuck it. Like, you're genuine, I'm genuine, we have fun. Why are we going to let people control our fucking fun?
Do you know what I'm
Fuck
gonna
it.
do?
Fuck it, JoJo.
Fuck it.
Fuck it.
So we said fuck it. And then it was beautiful from then on out.
Fuck it.
And like,
Sorry, I was getting another
what
one.
I was telling everybody, if we were not genuine, after that point, we would have split.
100%, because it would have made you guys being in there, and that's what, for me, that was the real moment where I was like, I don't understand any of this narrative anymore, because if me being in there, if I was you, you've got Chris, all that you really have to understand what might be happening on the outside world is your other housemates' interpretation. And if they're all saying that and you still prevailed to, it would have been the smart PR move in that moment to distance yourself.
But that wasn't the truth.
Inauthentic.
Yeah.
Inauthentic. And I'll even say again, like, so yeah, we would have separated in the house. Say it was though all for the house. We had this super secret pact. We would not be hanging out then outside the house. Like
100%.
he's a great friend. He is a friend. Will always be a person in my life. Like we're playing tennis after this. Like,
love that.
You know, like I would not go play tennis with him if I wasn't genuine, and he would not say come play tennis with me if we were not genuine.
Yeah.
Which is
That's
exciting, because
so
we were
funny.
playing fake tennis and fake basketball a lot in the house, so we're excited to play.
Oh my God, that's so iconic. One of the most controversial moments whilst you're in there, the handwriting.
The handwriting.
What did you write on the hand? And feel free to disclose as much as you want.
No. I'll be honest. I don't remember exactly what I wrote on his hand.
Fascinating.
But I do remember what we were. Babe, those first 3 nights, we would just like talk. Like you didn't know what you were saying. You had no one to talk to. It was also in the phase when it was like fun to yap in the house.
Yeah.
After that, like 4th night, we were like, good night. Like it was like, you know what I mean? But in
Yeah.
those first few days, it was fun to chit chat. And so I don't remember exactly the words or whatever that I wrote, but I like the context, obviously, and I gave a bit of context on the show. I don't know. I am. I shouldn't say I was, but I am, and I've been for a bit. Oh, it's weird how much like more stressful this is like in the open now.
I totally get it, and I want you to feel as comfortable as you want.
No, babe, it's already been aired for everybody.
Yeah, true.
We're in. We're in. And I think it's also cool for other people maybe going through the same thing to see.
100%.
Yeah. But the topic of conversation had to do with gender identity, whatever, and you know, saying what I said in the show. There's female, there's male, there's non-binary. Met a lot of beautiful non-binary people. I do feel a lot like them, but I don't know if that's me yet. Like I'm very much so female. I feel very female, but it's just an interesting topic that my mind has been.
It's a
open
conversation
to.
that needs to be aired
Yeah.
more on national television, because
Exactly.
so many people relate to those feelings that
Exactly.
you had. And obviously you were in there, you didn't realize, but it started so many important conversations
did.
around
It
the
really
country.
did.
Like I in the past, in 2023, I did a fundraiser with a Trans Plus charity
Yeah.
in a time when we were having a lot of issues in the UK politically with trans
Yeah.
people. And in that moment, I also met a lot of non-binary people, and I
Yeah.
got to understand the levels and
yeah.
the nuance in
Exactly.
gender identity and how fluid it really is and how difficult it is to come to terms with that. So
Exactly.
just you as a very influential, globally known 21-year-old on national television having that conversation
Thank you.
is so important.
Thank you.
And you don't have to have it all figured out.
No, and also I will give you a little bit of insight. I wrote a lot on his hand that night. There was a lot more that came out over hand text that night. It was not the 4 letters. You know what I mean? And I think that's, a lot of people have asked me like, but you wrote 4 letters. What do you mean? And I was like, no, babe. Like we were scribbling. I was scribbling.
That makes sense as to why you wouldn't remember it then.
Yeah.
Babe,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you without properly thinking about it, like the conversation that I had last conversation in the house. Like
Yeah.
there's so much happening. And I think what people don't realize, right, is like you do something today, you can go through your photos and you kind of like sparse memories, or you hear a song or you see a plant and it like triggers things. You're in this house, right? you live and you wake up tomorrow and it's the same thing. And you wake up tomorrow and it's the same thing. And then it's a little different, but it's basically the same. You're seeing the same walls, the same people, everything. So you have nothing that really triggers new memories, right? But what's so weird about today's world is a lot of our memories are triggered by scrolling, by seeing it. And so I think I've had a lot of people be like, how do you not know what you said exactly? And I'm like, cause baby, it was 18 days ago, but also like in those 18 days, I wasn't trying to remember, you know what I mean? I wasn't constantly reminded of it. That cured that memory in there.
100%. I feel like on this podcast, I've told the same 25 stories over and over again.
Sometimes
Because we have no idea what the bloody hell we're saying. And when you watch content and you enjoy whatever you're watching, your brain remembers it a lot more than when you're living it and experiencing it.
Yeah.
So, no, that makes
Did
so
they
much
leave
sense.
in the bit where Chris was like, we were speaking French and German?
Yes, I think
They did?
I
He was speaking French and German as well. And if they didn't leave it in, he was speaking French and German as
It
well.
looks so much like that's the bit where I feel like people are like, well, they're clearly lying because
Yeah.
he was like, well, it was just like we were speaking like French and German, and everyone on the sofa was just like, what?
Everyone's like, "Aw."
You're like, bonjour.
Yeah.
But,
Oui, oui.
I think speaking on the whole like gender identity
Yeah.
and all that sort of thing, I think it's like quite an important conversation to have because I feel like the only time that it ever really gets brought up or is like spoken about is once you're fully sort of
Committed almost.
on like in your head you've come to like a decision. It's
I-
never really vocalized when you're in the sort
There's
of
a lot of
middle phase.
discrimination against that discovery process.
Yeah.
Whether you're gay, whether you're trans, whether you're non-binary, people almost want you to hurry up and what are you? Tell me. Give me that label so that I can make sense of it. And they don't want you. I even remember when I came out, and no shade obviously to my mom, I love my mom, but when I came out to her when I was like 18, the first thing that she said to me is like, well, how do you know? Like, have you kissed a boy?
Yep.
And it's like, well, that's not really part of it, Joanne. But like her brain is like, well, you need to have this concrete proof that you are this. And
Exactly.
And it just, I think it makes it more manageable for people. But I think the more that we can have conversations about that discovery process and about the fact that it's ever changing and we are constantly learning new things about each other, the more open that it will become.
Yeah, and I think like it's okay to not know. And I think the more people that realize, oh, it's okay to not know. It's okay to be curious. It's okay to, see different communities, say, am I a part? Am I not?
You're 21 years old. You've spent the majority of your life doing these
Babe.
insane
I think that
career
is
moves.
something that everybody in my life forgets.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I think even I forget. I think sometimes I get a little too much credit, for being wiser beyond my years. But there are parts of me that are still 21.
Yeah.
I might be really far matured in the way that I can handle situations because I've had to handle them from a young age. But when it comes to stuff like gender identity, when it comes to stuff like sexuality, when it comes to stuff like, being in a relationship, when it comes to stuff like stuff that just comes with age.
Growing up with a lot of people sort of having their input on things that you're doing, I guess that's sort of like something that you would grow to understand, like you don't really need to give your input on everything.
Exactly. And I think a lot of times people think it's like running away from your problems, right? By not clarifying. And I'm like, no, actually I'm not running into problems, right? There's a problem that's being created and a narrative that's being created not by me. And so it's like, I don't want to feel that. Go for it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's...
Yeah.
And I guess as soon as you do say one thing, then somebody says something back and you're like,
What?
well, they've kind of need to sort of seal that over.
Exactly. And it's just going to create a pile on.
Yeah.
And then it's like, eventually you're going to get to the top. Whose hand's going to be on top? It doesn't matter at that point because there's... No one's going to know the full story.
And I'm so sorry if the worst thing that JoJo Siwa has ever done is enjoy yourself at Disneyland. Then, like, oh my God. Like, Jesus Christ.
So sorry.
Yeah, like, lock her up.
21st birthday.
Literally, Jesus Christ. I'm
Yeah.
going to Epcot next month, and I'm so excited.
You're going next month?
Yeah.
When? Do you know? What dates?
Going in, like, from the middle of May. I'm going to be there for, like 10 days in Florida. Then
Babe,
going to
I'll be
LA.
there.
Shut up.
Yeah, we're spending my birthday in Florida this year with my brother. I'll be there May 19th for sure. It's my birthday.
Oh my God, I'm literally going to be there.
Let's go to Epcot.
Slay!
Let's
Oh
go
my
to
God,
Epcot.
yes!
It'll be
Right, I'll
so
see you
fun.
there. Oh
No,
my
but
God.
that's what you just said of like, so sorry if that's the worst thing I've ever done.
It's ridiculous.
That is how I get through so many of my things in life because
No.
I'm like, you know what? If that is my crime, all good.
No, 100%.
Even with the Big Brother house, I'm like, if having fun, all good.
And having
all
a friend.
good. And having a friend,
God forbid.
all good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, yeah, whatever people want to run with, they're going to run with. Once people have something in their mind, they don't want to change it.
No.
People love a story. People love it. It's fun. Let them run with it. But I know, family knows. It's all that matters.
Yeah, 100%. Speaking of crazy, wacky things that we do sometimes,
Love.
you pissed in that litter box
I did.
with Chris Hughes.
Yep.
I need some context. Obviously, we were doing the challenge and everything was going great. You two were laughing and joking.
Always.
Who pissed first?
So we went in 2 separate times. I'm gonna give you the full story, man. So Chris was like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and I was like, okay. And so we go in, and there's a fucking massive litter box, and he was like, oh my god, I have to do it, and I was like, go for it. So he weed a little bit.
Yeah, we saw.
And then I don't fully recall, but I think he went and finished off. That sounds horrible. He
In
went
the
off and
bathroom.
finished weeing in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris, what the hell?
Chris,
Oh, this isn't part of it.
yeah, it's a litter box thing. No, he took a wee in the bath in the litter box and went to the bathroom. And then I was pissing laughing. And I was like, God, I wish I had to pee right now. And he was like, it's okay. And I was like, we'll come back later. So anyways, I go and I drink some liquid, and we had to drink out of the bowl, so it was hard. But I finally come up to him a little bit later, and I was like, I have to go. He was like, let's go. So we go to the bathroom. And this time is when he started to try to make a J with his stream, because we wanted to have a proper stream, whereas the first time it was just like dribble. So anyways, he goes, I'm guarding the door, and then I'm like, okay, my turn. I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. It's much more difficult for a girl, not showing your bits, whatever. There's for sure also a camera angle that is straight on my bits.
Of course,
like that.
yeah. That's a lot.
Hope that producer was having a good day. Anyways, so he's guarding the door, and then I was like, Chris, I actually think like I might need your help. So there was a point where I was gonna try to almost put my gear over me, and then I was gonna try to squat over and have him hold my hands so that I could dribble over.
Yeah, that would have helped the rumors.
Yeah, would have helped the rumors.
Hold me
so
whilst
much.
I pee, Chris.
Hold me while I piss, please. And then I was like, wait, this doesn't work either. I was like, okay, go guard the door again. So he's guarding the door, and I'm like, I think if I just go like this. So now, as I'm trying to figure this out, Big Brother comes on the common just in the bathroom, and he's like, this is Big Brother. Just a reminder, housemates are allowed to use the human toilet. And I literally, Chris and I both go, no, thank you. Like, we're good.
I think they put that in.
Yeah, they didn't put it in?
I think they did.
Oh, they did? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Chris and I were like,
funny.
all good, thank you. So then anyways, I figured out I could just kind of whip it out and go for it.
Oh my god,
And
so iconic.
It just was so funny. Like, we
It's
both couldn't
hilarious.
believe that we both were down.
It's
like,
so
we both
funny.
couldn't believe that we were just gung ho.
But again, that shows the extent of your friendship that you'd got to that level.
I
I've
think-
pissed in front of all of my closest friends. Have I done it in front of you? Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, you've told the story of you doing it in an outside area.
Oh yeah.
There
See?
you go.
Free. Live free. Urinate.
And it's crazy because I totally can see from the outside world, like, even my mom's been like, it's 18 days. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But it's so intense in those
but-
environments.
Yeah, and she wasn't even talking related to Chris and I. She was talking to just other side things that I wanted to change in my career. Like, that's what that conversation was about. And she's like, it's been 18 days. Are you sure? And I'm like, no, babe. Like, I'm sure. But when it comes to that friendship specifically, and Chris specifically, it's 18 days, but it is 19 days and nights, and you're sleeping next to one another, and you're breathing the same air, you're in the same 3 rooms, there's no escape, you're using the bathroom at the same time, you're showering at the same time, you're brushing your teeth together, you're
No
eating together, you're
distractions
cooking
like
together.
we spoke about.
No phone, no friend, no nothing. You have nothing besides what's in there. And so I think that with him and I, it's so exhilarated just because that's all there was. All we did was just live.
100%.
You know what I mean?
That's
crazy.
That's why it's so. It's like you say. Obviously, it's 42 minutes from 12 hours, but those 12 hours are so much more jam packed with actual getting to know each other. And,
Babe.
it's not a normal 12-hour.
You miss the boring stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You miss the boring stuff, and can't blame them,
100%,
obviously.
Yeah.
It's so intense.
And it's why-
and it's designed that way.
Yeah.
These shows, you look like Love Island's a great example for it, where you're like, how are they this close? It's day 3.
But it's so
But,
intense.
it's
And you're doing literally, you're putting your socks on together.
Yeah.
Even when you're in a relationship with somebody, you go in the closet to get dressed, you
Yeah.
walk in, you
Yeah.
go to the bathroom at different times. This is everyone wakes up, everyone goes in, everyone gets dressed, everyone goes to eat, everyone makes tea. And
Yeah.
when you make a tea, you're offering it to 13 people. You know what I mean? Poor Jack. God, it's so funny. I love him.
So iconic.
iconic.
Looking back now, obviously, on your entire Big Brother experience, what was your highlight and what was the hardest moment for you?
Oh my God, that's such a hard question. there's a moment where I spoke to Chris and I said, give me 48 hours and I'll tell you.
Yes.
That what I was feeling that moment was the hardest, because that was when I had a real realization in my life that I needed to for myself fix personally fast, and I needed to handle essentially immediately. And
did you discuss further what you were referring to with anybody in the house, or did you keep that to yourself and just tell Chris that little bit of
I
information?
just told him that little bit because he could again see something was going on, and that was something that I had been thinking about since day 3, and it engulfed me, and it was a decision that is not light at all. And I needed to talk about it, and that's why I wasn't talking that night a lot. And I don't know what it ended up looking like, but I know the 48-hour thing, and that's been a lot of questions I got. What'd you write on the end? And what are the 48 hours?
Yeah.
It's been 48 hours. Can you tell us?
Yeah.
And the truth is, like, no, I can't. And obviously I've told him, I've told my family, but it's that moment was like, I don't know why I started going on about that moment. Oh, the low.
The hardest
moment,
part.
having that actual realization, laying there and being like, damn, like
You've got to do something.
I've got to do
as soon as you
something
get
that
out.
as soon as I get out that I really I'm not looking forward to. But
Sorry, in terms of that, was it difficult to bite your tongue? Because I feel like
it's super because you need to talk your feelings as a human.
Were you really aware of the cameras when you're in there? Like
I was, and you forget, and you think a lot. Oh, this won't make it. But I did want to protect something with my life and make sure that it wasn't more than it needed to be, and so that's why I was like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just 48 hours. You can do anything for 48 hours. I can keep my mouth shut for 48 more. You know what I mean?
I feel like from my experience on my show, the way I describe it was like I was aware the cameras were there, but I was just sort of like happy being myself, like speaking stuff. But then when a conversation turned into something that was like a
little more intense,
Then
it
you
feels
start
like,
to be
whoa,
like,
wait
shit.
a second.
like the feeling I'd sort of describe it as is, you know, when there's like a group of people, everyone's sort of chatting, and then your conversation becomes a bit interesting. You can hear everyone stop speaking. And it feels like that's what the cameras are doing when things get a little bit more interesting. You're just like, okay, I feel like this might be
exactly.
Is it fair to say then that you were trying your best in that environment to protect or kind of manage someone's feelings in the outside world the best that you could in there?
Exactly.
That now makes sense. The 48 hours thing.
Yeah, and I needed to handle something, but I did not want to handle it there. You know what I mean? And so that was like, just give me a beat. So yeah, that was definitely the hardest, that kind of realization. And also for him, like, I know he wanted to be there for me, but it's hard to be there for someone when you don't know how to be there for them.
And you don't want to speak about it, and you don't want to make it a bigger deal, because then it becomes a part of the show.
And then you don't want to pry, but you're also like, I want to be there for you. So yeah.
It unravels.
God, my highlight. I have so many highlights. Oh, another low, eating the Spam. Horrible.
Spam's not great.
First bite, fine. Rest of it, horrible.
Yeah.
Okay. Highs. Rambling off all the British knowledge.
So great.
Remembering the entire fake grocery list that we made, and I was just rattling it off. Mango, blue electrical tape, camera, Chesney Hawk CD. That moment, I don't know if I made it or not. Oh man, God, there's so many. Sleeping in the fish room with Angelica and Donna was so funny.
That was iconic, that moment.
So funny.
It must have stunk.
It was so bad. I come in the next morning and literally Chris smelled me. It was like, wash your clothes and shower immediately. I had to wash my hair. It was horrible. It was like on us. Sorry, I know you asked for one. I'm going to give you like 5 more.
No, love it.
The hot tub. Anytime we were in the hot tub was always just so fun. Okay. Okay, my high. My absolute high takes the cake. Chris and I had worked on a dance the entire time we were in the house. And we had really done this dance. We did the Dirty Dancing lift. The whole song was I've had the time of my life. Anyways, I think we're performing it on This Morning tomorrow.
As you should.
So excited.
As you should.
I'm so excited.
That's so iconic.
Yeah, because no one's gotten to see the full performance.
Yeah.
And so tomorrow we're going to go for it. Anyways, we did the lift this one time in the garden. It was so perfect. I was up there for like 5 seconds. They never showed it. It was really frustrating. But we practice this dance all the time. So anyways, it's the last night. And I remember we walked into like that beautiful, how they did up the living room. And I knew. I was like, oh, Chris, we're going to do the dance. Like, it's for real now.
It's like a fairy tale.
It was I'm not kidding. It was a picture perfect fairy tale.
So iconic.
So anyways, we'd eat dinner, and the whole time I'm like not drinking too much water because I know we're going to dance. So anyways, Big Brother then, was like, I told Big Brother, I was like, Big Brother, I have to go put shorts on. I have to put them under my pants, and I need my grippy socks. And just in case you play the song. And so the bedroom opened up. I could go in there. And I come back out, put my pants back on, whatever. So then we're just dancing. We're having fun. And Big Brother comes over the intercoms, and he says, are you guys having a good night? We're all like, yeah, because they were playing just some fun music.
Yeah.
And Big Brother said, are you guys having, he goes, but are you guys having the time of your life?
No.
Chris knew immediately. It took me a second.
my
I was like,
God.
yeah, it's the moment. It's the moment.
That's
and we'd
so
only ever done it
cool.
with Chesney or Jack singing, or it counts. So we finally got the song for the first time.
my
and
God.
babe, he played the song. We were like, pause, Big Brother. We have to get in position because it starts at the beginning.
Yeah.
So anyways, I put my shorts on, take my shoes off. We get into position. Okay, we're like, okay, we're ready. And we're here. And like that moment of doing that dance and just like, we like finally had the music. The first time we did it, we did the lift and I hit the disco ball. So we did it 2 other times and we rinsed it to the song. We were only supposed to do it once, but I was like, come on, again, from the top, right now, we're in. And like just that was like the best, highest, it's so fun. We had genuinely like pretended we were on Strictly, and that was our
so
first performance. Like
brilliant.
we really worked on it hard. Like, and he worked on it hard. I will give him his
That
flowers.
sounds
there.
magical.
That is such
It
an
was
American
so
film.
magical.
Yeah,
That is such an
it
American
is.
way to end a film.
Like a movie.
Was, you guys, you have no, that's actually the edit that I was making on the phone. I was pulling the clips that they put out, and I was editing it together to be like the order of the dance. I'll show you guys.
Ask them if they have the footage of it after the fact, because sometimes
Oh my
they
God,
keep
I-
certain things.
I will. I'm sure they have the full.
Yeah.
They have to release that.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
was
that's a
so
clip
good.
there.
That's so brilliant.
You guys have no idea. Like, and like with the twinkle lights, it just was like, and the song for the first time, I could just feel it as we were doing it. I was like, this is so good. It was
Oh
so
my
fun.
God, I'm so glad that you got that moment. That just sounds amazing.
It just like sealed the deal. It was perfect.
That must have been the most main character energy.
Oh
ever.
yeah.
No, you guys, it was like, and then the rest of the night, like everyone stayed on the dance floor for a bit. And then it was just him and I. Him and I for the whole night. We were just rocking. Every song that was on, we were just dancing. We were freestyling then.
I love that so much.
It was so fun. It was so fun.
Oh, I'm
That
so glad
last
that you
night.
got that experience, honestly.
Babe,
That's funny.
honestly, I got to give it to the Big Brother team. Like, what a team. It's absolutely amazing. They put so much effort into the show,
Such a
and
great
it shows.
show.
It's
Such a great
incredible.
show. Oh my God. Well, to wrap things up, you have had the biggest whirlwind of like the last 36 hours of your
Babe.
entire life, I imagine.
Babe, literally.
So much has been put in the press. So much has been put online. Is
Really?
there anything?
Didn't notice.
Is there anything that you, JoJo Siwa, would like to clarify now?
Yeah, there's a lot of things. I will clarify. Chris and I are friends. Chris is a wonderful guy who I'm very lucky he got to come into my life. We have a very special bond, a very special relationship, but it's a beautiful friendship that I'm very grateful for. So I do want to clarify that, and I know he also wants to clarify that as well. I want to clarify that there are a lot more conversations than the world sees, and there's a lot more things that the world doesn't hear, and there's a lot of things that I don't feel I need to jump to defend because honestly, and this goes for a lot of things in my life, the second I jump to defend something and add to the pile, it draws more attention to it. And sometimes there's people involved that don't want to be involved, and so that's the reason why I don't drag into it. Sometimes there's no truth to what's being said, so I don't drag into it. If I need to put a stop to something, I will. Right now, I'm putting a stop to Chris and I. That's a friendship. It's a beautiful friendship. It's a friendship. I will always do that. But there's a lot more to life than what you see online. And so don't believe everything you see or hear. Always know that there's always context, and there's always another story, and there's always something that happened that you don't know, and you've never ever walked in somebody's shoes. And if I could give any advice, it would be that I spent the last 20 days in an environment getting to know myself. I spent the last 20 days in an environment with strangers, only being stuck with my own thoughts, with no phone, and it taught me that there's so much more to life than what goes on in other people's lives. And you have your life and your bubble and your family and your friends and new people, and what goes on online on social media, it's today's world, so it does affect you, but don't let it rinse you and consume you, because it's It's not all true.
Honestly,
That
oh my
was
gosh.
that was an incredible
Poetic.
That
speech.
slayed so
Thanks,
hard,
babe.
Jojo.
Thank
That needs
you.
a Hope Core edit.
It does, it does. And
Can I get an edit where it like does the text on
Yeah.
screen?
Oh,
with me?
absolutely.
It's like I'm in black and white and the text is in like
Oh
red
my
and
god,
white.
I
you know
love
what
it.
mean?
Right, that's happening now. 100% no, I completely agree with everything that you just said. We've all weirdly had an opportunity to be away from the outside world and all those distractions and things that convolute our brains, and it does allow you that reset. And I
brings you.
really encourage people to, where you can, put your phone down, spend time with your friends and family. Get back in touch with what is real.
It's such a strange thing to do though, because like, even going through that now, and you may be even the same even after sort of like 36 hours after coming out. I just physically couldn't be like, right, let's put that phone in the box for the week and then just like
It's
weird.
the weirdest thing. Like I want to practice what I preach and say like I had the best 20 days without this thing, but now I like love having it in my hand again.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, America,
We're addicted.
hi,
We're
Hari.
addicted.
We are.
We are addicted.
It's crazy.
Oh, crazy. Well, what's coming up for JoJo?
Oh my God, so much, babe. I go home, I land, and I start filming my new music video.
Oh my god.
Let's talk about it. I'll say what it is. It's a song called Bulletproof.
Yes!
And it's a song that I've been wanting to sing for a very long time, and it's about not being bulletproof. And I am not bulletproof, and I will never be bulletproof, and that's okay.
Is it a more slow song, or should we expect high?
Do you want to hear a little sneak peek?
Yes. Are you joking? Yes, we do.
Okay.
Can we expect you and Chris dancing to it in the music video?
Oh my
maybe?
god, that
Just-
needs to happen. That needs to friggin' happen. If it's not happening, it needs to happen.
Hold on.
Jeez.
A dirty dancing lift
Oh
to Bulletproof.
my God.
Crazy.
Okay,
Oh my
here
god,
you go.
right, listen.
Little sneak peek.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Suddenly not so. Suddenly not so.
Oh! Oh! I
Little
love
sneak
it!
Little sneak peek. Little sneak peek.
Oh my god,
Is that like a
exclusive!
little, is that like a Frere Jacques?
That is, it is the
Ah.
Farrah Jacques melody.
Oh
the
my
verses
God.
are not, but
Yeah,
that
that's
good
cool.
shot and hit the. Oh my God, we were trying to sing Farrah Jacques on Big Brother. Did this make it?
No. I don't
Christopher
think
trying
so.
to sing Farrah Jacques was the funniest shit of my entire life. Solid mega tinka, solid mega tinka. Patsy ended up knowing it. It was so funny.
That is so iconic, JoJo. Thank you so much.
Oh my God.
You don't know how much that is made.
That's literally chills. Like, baby, I'm bulletproof. What are you gonna do about it?
I'll send it to you.
Oh yes! Oh my god! I don't know what noise that
was
was. I'm so sorry.
I'm in.
Wow, I'm losing my head, JoJo. This has been the biggest pleasure
Thank
of
you.
my entire life. Karma
you.
is a bitch.
Karma's
alright?
always a bitch.
Always a bitch, but you are not. You are an icon.
Thank you. That means a ton coming from you, especially knowing that like you're in a position of like, okay, forgive me if I misspeak here, but like loving a hot goss. You know what I mean? Like I think you love a hot
100%.
goss, and so hearing you say that genuinely does mean so much.
Oh,
Please just know
JoJo,
that.
like, yeah, we love to talk about pop culture. We love
course,
to
it's
go
fun,
through
it's
everything, but
entertaining.
Oh, that's my
At its-
favorite thing in the world. pop
yeah,
culture.
but at its heart, it's like you're a real person, and I weirdly related to you so much watching the show.
Thank you.
And I just think that you're such a credit to yourself and to your family, and yeah, you've been an absolute joy. You
Thank
really
you.
have.
Appreciate you very much.
Oh, and she was just on the Useless Hotline, everybody!
Love it.
Oh my gosh. Right, George. In fact, JoJo, what should they do if they enjoyed the episode?
Oh my God, you should subscribe.
Yes.
Can we subscribe? Can we like? Can we leave a review?
Absolutely,
And
we
you
can.
should listen to another.
Yes,
Oh,
hell
there you
yeah. Usually on the Useless Hotline, we go through your guys' dilemmas, but today, because we had Queen JoJo, we wanted to make it all just about JoJo. So if you would like to send in a dilemma, please do so via our email, theuselesshotlinepodcast@gmail.com. However, we've bloody finished it.
We're done, baby.
Oh, we're done, babe.
Bloody hell, we're done,
bloody
babe.
done
That's what I'm
it.
talking about.
Thank you so much, JoJo Siwa.
Oh my God, of course. Thank
and
you.
see
you
you
for
next
coming
time.
on. Appreciate it.
Bye.